My name is Sarah. I am 22 years old and live in a small town where most people speak my native language. Growing up, I always admired people who spoke English fluently. They sounded confident, knowledgeable, and impressive. I wanted to be like them. I knew that learning English could open many doors for me: better job opportunities, easier travel, and the ability to communicate with people from all over the world. However, there was one problem. I didn't know where to start. When I first tried learning English, I felt lost. I knew some basic words, but I couldn't form proper sentences. I was afraid of making mistakes, so I avoided speaking. Whenever I watched English movies, the actors spoke too fast, and I couldn't understand them. Reading English books was also difficult. I had to look up every other word in the dictionary, which made reading slow and frustrating. Every time I tried to learn, I felt like giving up. Despite my struggles, I refused to quit. I told myself that if I practiced every day, I would improve. I decided to create a learning routine. Every morning, I read a short story in English. I wrote down new words in a notebook and tried to use them in sentences. In the afternoon, I watched English videos with subtitles. In the evening, I practiced speaking alone in front of the mirror. It wasn't easy, but I kept going. At first, I didn't see much improvement. I still struggled to form sentences, and my pronunciation was not good. But I reminded myself that learning takes time. I had to be patient and keep practicing. Slowly, I started understanding more words. I recognized familiar phrases in movies. I was even able to follow simple conversations in English. Listening was my biggest challenge. When I listened to English speakers, their words blended together, making it hard to understand. I felt frustrated because I couldn't follow conversations. To improve, I started with simple things. I listened to children's songs and watched cartoons. The slow speech and clear pronunciation helped me understand better. I repeated sentences aloud, trying to match the accent. Over time, my ears became more familiar with English sounds. One day, I decided to challenge myself. I watched an English movie without subtitles. At first, I understood only a few words, but I focused on the expressions and gestures of the characters. I tried to guess the meaning of the sentences. By the end of the movie, I realized I had understood much more than I expected. It was a small success, but it motivated me to keep learning. Speaking was another major hurdle. I was too shy to speak in front of others because I feared making mistakes. One day, I decided to practice alone. I stood in front of the mirror and introduced myself in English. "Hello, my name is Sarah." At first, it felt strange, but I kept practicing. I repeated simple sentences every day. When I gained some confidence, I started speaking with my friends. Some of them laughed at my accent, which made me feel embarrassed, but I didn't let that stop me. I also tried writing in English. I kept a journal where I wrote about my day in simple sentences. It was difficult at first, but I noticed that writing helped me remember new words. I started sending short messages in English to my friends online. Whenever I made a mistake, they corrected me, and I learned from it. One day, something amazing happened. A tourist in my town asked me for directions in English. My heart started racing. I wanted to help, but I was afraid I would say the wrong words. I took a deep breath and said, "Go straight, then turn left." The tourist smiled and thanked me. That small moment gave me a huge boost of confidence. For the first time, I realized that I could actually communicate in English. Even though I was improving, I still faced challenges. Sometimes, I forgot words in the middle of a sentence. Other times, I mispronounced words, and people corrected me. Instead of feeling discouraged, I reminded myself that making mistakes was part of learning. Every mistake taught me something new. I started seeing errors as stepping stones to improvement. As I continued my journey, I met new people who also wanted to learn English. I joined an online language exchange group where people from different countries practiced speaking together. At first, I was nervous, but everyone was supportive. We helped each other by correcting mistakes and sharing learning tips. Talking to real people helped me learn faster and made learning more fun. Now, I use English in my daily life. When I go to a restaurant, I try to order food in English. If I meet a foreigner, I start a conversation. I even write emails in English. One day, I helped a lost tourist find his hotel. That experience made me realize how valuable my language skills had become. The biggest turning point in my journey was when I had my first full conversation in English, without stopping or overthinking. I spoke naturally and understood everything the other person said. It was an incredible feeling. That day, I knew I had truly learned English. Now, I help others who are learning English. I share my journey on a blog and give advice to beginners. I even started teaching English to children in my community. Recently, I traveled to an English-speaking country, something I had always dreamed of. Looking back, I feel proud of how far I have come. There were moments when I doubted myself, days when I felt stuck and thought I wasn't making progress. But I kept going. I reminded myself that learning a language takes time. There are no shortcuts, only persistence. I learned that practice and patience are the keys to success. Today, when I watch English movies, I understand most of the dialogues. When I read books, I don't need to use a dictionary as often. When I speak, I feel confident. I am not perfect, but I am much better than before. Learning English was not easy, but it was worth it. It took time, patience, and effort, but I never gave up. I learned that practicing a little every day leads to big improvements. My journey taught me an important lesson. If you believe in yourself and stay consistent, you can achieve anything. So, if you are learning English, don't be afraid of mistakes. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. One day, you will look back and realize how much you have improved. Just remember, learning a language is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to fluency. Because I learn English every day,